In an era where everyone thinks their opinions are so damn important, I'm here to give you a little piece of my mind. Welcome to Unaffiliated the Podcast with your host, B. Seth. Let's go.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hello, world. Welcome to Unaffiliated the Podcast with your host, B. Seth. I have a very special guest in the building today, my blood brother, Adrian Johnson. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome to the show, man. A little closer.
No, we've been trying to make this happen for a little time now.
Yeah, man. So, fun fact, Adrian's my older brother. Y'all met Carlos last season, and this is Adrian. Lives in New Jersey. Tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Adrian Johnson. Live in New Jersey. Kind of travel a little bit. Licensed attorney in New York and New Jersey. And tonight we're going to be talking about real estate. So I'm glad to be on the show. Carlos was on here last year, so I'm here this year.
Black Power.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Hold up. But all right, cool. Welcome to the show, man. Are we still going? Yeah, we're still going. All right, so give people a background on yourself, like professionally.
Yeah, so professionally, 10 years in finance. I worked for Rupert Murdoch. Used to buy and sell a lot of businesses and companies for him all over the world. Finished up in the business sector as a CFO of a private equity group. Again, purchasing businesses, companies, and real estate. Then started my own law firm in 2010, and now it's 2021, and we're still running strong in about 9 states and about 5 or 6 countries. About 50 people total make up the law firm, and it's anything from business and corporate litigation, business and corporate clientele with strategy, as well as real estate investment trusts and things of that nature.
Yes, sir. Cool. This is my brother, but I still don't know half the things he's done or things he's doing, but a very go-getter, I would say. Since I was little, I've always seen that from you. So, yeah, it was cool to watch it unfold for sure and to give me some motivation. But, all right, so let's get right to it then. Real estate investing for the young college kid who doesn't have much money, but he's reading all the newest podcasts or hearing all the newest podcasts and hearing all the financial jargon that's happening right now. How does he get involved in investing into a real estate property?
Yeah, so the first myth that most people have about getting into real estate investment is that they need a lot of money.
Right.
And so when we're talking about, college individuals that are just getting started out in life, that's kind of difficult. So what I want to break down and offer up is, ways to get into this business or this industry without a lot of capital. But, sometimes because the capital's not there, it requires a lot of sweat equity. Mm-hmm. So instead of the cash, you're going to have to put in a little more time and effort into making these investments.
More work.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so usually money buys you convenience. When you don't have the money, you lose the convenience. And so that's what we're going to be switching out, with this example.
Okay.
So with real estate, you always hear you got to have a lot of money to buy in, and you got to have money to buy this and do this. But there's other ways of funding transactions. One particular way, we'll speak probably about 2 tonight, just because there's many, but I'll give you guys 2 tonight. The first one, it's called an owner finance deal. So what owner finance is typically where you have the owner carry the note. Excuse me. So instead of going to a bank with the traditional funding, traditional lending, which if we're talking about people just getting started out, those options probably aren't there, especially not for an investment property. Most banks are going to lend to you for a residential property, not an investment. So owner finance is an example where you would have the owner carry the note. The owner, in essence, acts as your bank. And so this is where we're talking about a creation of phantom money or money that does not exist. Mm-hmm. So this owner gives you a note for whatever the amount of the property is you're buying. Let's call it $100,000. You take the note, and then you make payments to the owner just as if he was your bank.
Okay.
And this is a way that you can fund a lot of transactions without them hitting your credit score per se, without mortgages showing up on your credit report, and still be able to get into the real estate investment without a lot of cash down. Most owner finance deals you can get in with very, very little money down. And when I say that, probably 2 to 5% of whatever the purchase price is. And then, carry the note just like you would with any mortgage.
Okay, so the listener who's taking notes right now, and he's going to try this tomorrow, how does he get into that, the owner financing? And what steps does he take?
So step one, you check Zillow or the Trulias or of the world, whatever you're looking at to purchase property. A lot of those properties you can then filter down by owner for sale by owner. Typically that's the designation. For sale by owner means there's no bank involved. For sale by owner typically means a house is paid off. For sale by owner also typically means that these individuals have the bandwidth to be able to enter into this type of transaction. A typical for sale by real estate agent or foreclosure or auction, they're probably not going to want to entertain an owner finance deal because they're trying to get up out of this property fairly quickly. However, when you target a for sale by owner, this is typically somebody, again, that has all the bandwidth to be able to make these, we call them creative financing options that just typically aren't available in the mainstream.
Right.
Once you've identified those for sale by owner, either you or if you have a real estate agent can approach the owner with the offer of owner finance. Now, the benefit of owner finance to the property owner are twofold. One, you're about to give them an influx of cash in the form of a deposit, whether it be 2 to 5%, and sometimes they'll even take nothing. But the big benefit is you now become a monthly residual income for that owner.
Okay.
So instead of you making that $500, $600, $700, $800 a month payment to the bank, you're making it to that homeowner.
Directly to the owner, yeah.
And so now you've become a revenue stream for them for however long that mortgage is going to exist. So that's typically the sale that you want to give to the previous owner to draw them into an owner finance
the selling
deal.
point is
exactly
you're going to have that stream of income every month. Okay, that makes
exactly.
sense. All right. What? So owner financing, that's one faction of how you can get into real estate without money.
Without a lot of money, right? The second way we call it is a bond for title.
Okay.
So bond for title is very similar to owner finance, except for there's a few differences. Bond for title, there may still be a mortgage on that property.
Right.
Owner finance, there's no mortgage on the property. So the owner is typically free and clear. With the bond for title, it's a very similar transaction where you're saying to the owner, hey, I want you to carry the note. Hey, I'll give you X amount of money down. And hey, I'm going to give you this residual income every month.
Right.
The difference is with a bond for title, you're relying on that owner to continue to make those mortgage payments.
Right.
So typically, whatever the payment agreement comes to be, let's say it's a $100,000 property, $30,000 left on the note, and let's say it's a $600 a month mortgage, and you've agreed to pay this individual $700 a month. When you pay the $700, you're then relying on the owner to pay $600 to the mortgage company.
Yeah.
And keep $100 as his profit.
Okay.
The reason it's set up this way because anytime you have a transfer of title, that triggers any mortgage to be due in full. So what happens with a bond for title, you never transfer the title until the underlying mortgage is paid off.
Right.
If you transfer that title, it triggers the mortgage to be due in full, and then the mortgage company is going to come looking for that $30,000.
Yeah.
So in essence, you take the bond, you just put it away in your drawer, you make these payments until the mortgage is cleared. Once that mortgage is cleared, then you can go record your bond for title. So that one's a little more intricate, and a lot more owners are a little more hesitant to enter that because they're afraid of triggering the mortgage due clause.
What's that exactly?
that's when you record or you transfer the title.
Okay.
So that's why they're giving you a bond instead of giving you the title. They're giving you a bond for the title.
Okay.
So once the mortgage is paid, you can record the bond and it becomes your title.
Okay.
So that was a little more intricate than we need to touch on tonight. But the owner
it's another
finance,
option.
Yeah, that's definitely another option when there's little to no money involved and there's not a mortgage involved.
Which one would you recommend? The first one?
If this is your first time getting in, I've done both of those deals.
Yeah.
I would do owner finance. Owner finance does require a little more sifting through the rubble because you may see 10 properties you want to, make a offer on, and maybe 9 of those owners aren't interested in owner finance.
Right.
So it does require, and that's where I mentioned when there's no cash, you got to put the legwork
Put in the work in, yeah.
So you're going to have to pull 10, 20 properties to maybe close on 1 or 2.
Right.
But if you get in this pattern, when I started doing this 7, 8 years ago, I was buying a property every 3 months. And so as long as you stay in that type of pattern, years down the road, now you have 15, 20 units.
Right.
And all of them are owner financed. So these are, again, this is buying a lot of property with no cash down and not taking one single mortgage.
Okay.
So I've been doing it now going on 8 years. And so right now, probably about 15 doors.
Nice.
And out of that, probably half is owner finance. The other are bonds for title.
Okay, cool. So for people who, of course, are interested in this, what are some downsides to owning property and renting out property? Or
Yeah, see, that's the real part that nobody ever wants to talk about.
Yeah. Tell me the downside. I like to give disclaimers as we're giving information as well, just so people know.
Be sure to follow Unaffiliated the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now on YouTube.